the 5 different tiers of weight loss. So it's going to go from failing, which is tier 5, all the way up to tier 1, which is elite. And I'll explain what these tiers are and why they are important. All right. So the very first thing is the failing tier. This is where most of you guys who are looking at YouTube videos on how to lose weight, you're probably in this tier. What does this mean? Is that you are losing either half a pound a week, or you're gaining weight. You're either losing less than that, which is basically nothing, or you're consistently gaining weight. Why does this happen? Lack of discipline. You guys make excuses, you put off workouts, you're not eating correctly. You really don't care, and your actions show it, right? Next is you don't have any type of accountability system. So you don't have a coach, you don't have any type of system that's keeping you accountable. As I mentioned in last week's video, I have a coach. I am also publicly documenting this transformation live on the internet, so I can't hide anything. You guys are going to see me week by week. If I get to week 16 and I haven't lost any weight, that would be embarrassing, right? That would be stupid. You guys wouldn't be clicking these videos if I didn't get to the goal, right? Having that level of accountability, as long with a coach, along with myself, that's a system that I have to make sure that I'm keeping accountable. But for people that are failing to lose weight, they have no accountability. That's why it's so easy for them to quit, right? Next is weak mindset. So what I've been talking about already, you are really not focused. You have temporary motivation. You want to get in shape for summer. Summer's here. You're still fat. And why people stay here, you're stuck in a loop of excuses. You're not making any action, and you're doing the infinite fat boy loop. You get fat, then you get this surge of motivation. You do it for 2 to 3 weeks. You quit. You take 7 months off. Oh, I'm still fat, but you've gotten fatter over that 7 months you took off, and you just keep on repeating the cycle. So that's what is most common with people that are failing to lose weight, right? So the next tier is tier number 4, which is below average. And people that fall into this benchmark is you're losing between half a pound and just under 1 pound a week. So you're not even hitting 1 pound. Still pretty pathetic in terms of weight loss, but at least you're not going backwards, right? Now, what's the common characteristics of someone like this is inconsistent adherence. You fail your diet often. You maybe stick with it for maybe 2 or 3 days, and then you'll go back and revert to your old habits. Poor tracking, rarely logging anything. They may weigh themselves maybe once a month, maybe once every 3 weeks, but even when they see the scale going up or it's not dropping as fast as they'd like, they are still not making any type of change to those actions. When they are doing the workouts or whatever they're doing, they're half-assing it. They're not putting in that work. You've seen this. We've probably all done this one time or two. We go to the gym, we are sitting at the machine or we're sitting at the station and we're just scrolling on our phone, listening to music. Oh, I'm sitting here. I just want to get the right song. You know why? You struggle heavy with motivation and excuses. So similar to the people that are failing, you make a lot of excuses. You are relying on motivation, which we discussed last week's training that does not work. And people stay there because the execution lacks the precision needed to spark that momentum. Everything is momentum when it comes to your body transformation. You want to build these blocks from week 1 to now we're building the momentum of these weeks. Tier number 3, this is average. So this is where a lot of people, when they put in effort, they get here. And this is where they top out without hitting the other 2 tiers, right? If you're losing an average amount of weight, you're going to be losing between 1 to 1.2 pounds per week. And I want to make a disclaimer here. These tiers really apply if you're overweight or obese. If you are very close to being ripped, you're maybe like 10, 15 pounds, this chart or these tiers are not going to necessarily apply because you're not going to be losing 4 pounds a week similar to someone who is very obese because you're much closer to being lean and your body is holding on to that extra fat. Losing 1 pound a week for that person would be very good, but for the average obese, very overweight person, 1 pound a week isn't really doing much. And this is average, right? So you have moderate discipline, you stick to it most days, but you also tend to fall off. What I see here is a lot of people will stick to it, right, Monday through Friday, and then as soon as the weekend comes, they trash that whole week, right? They binge. Basic tracking, they log inconsistently. They're not able to adjust as fast. If the below average person is weighing themselves once a month, this person is probably weighing themselves maybe once every 2 weeks, right? But because they are not tracking as consistently as they should, they're losing those data points that would allow them to adjust a lot faster and course correct a lot faster. Standard effort, generic. Oh, here's this TikTok workout. Here's this Instagram workout I found. Here's this diet that my favorite influencer is pushing to me. But you're not really following it. You're still cheating on the diet. You're not really getting the results because you're not doing it. You're not really doing the program as it's supposed to be. That's why you're not getting the results. And then your mindset tends to fluctuate. You struggle heavily after about maybe week 4. Week 4 is where you start reevaluating. You're like, oh, man, am I really doing it? Keep in mind, the laziest people that quit their New Year's resolutions, they at least last 21 days. So if you're getting to week 4, and you're already doubting, yeah, you got past the 90%, but a lot of those people get filtered out and they stay in this tier. Why they say here, they're doing enough to lose weight, but not pushing beyond comfort. I'll also say here that people who are failing to lose weight, and especially the below average and the average people, the weight that they're losing is not fast enough for it to be a difference, right? If I were only losing 1 pound a week over these 16 weeks, that means that I would only lose 16 pounds. And I know for me at my current weight, that's not going to do anything for my overall physique. I need to be losing a lot more. That's why we have to aim for the higher tiers, as you're going to see in just a moment. Next tier, tier 2, is above average. So people that I coach, they tend to be in above average. Obviously, we're aiming for tier 1, which is, this is around what I would expect if they're doing everything like 80% of the time, right? Characteristics, consistent effort. A lot of people who have coaches, they tend to get these results because they're not really slipping up too much. They're able to really course correct, right? Good tracking and accountability. So they log progress and they adjust whenever they hit a plateau. So it's very rare that people who are losing weight at the above average in this tier, for them to miss days. They may miss days occasionally, but they're pretty good at tracking, weighing themselves every single day, or at least they weigh themselves every week. So I'm a big promoter of weighing yourself every single day, as you'll see with the next tier. They're very good at tracking. Effective, but not perfect. If someone's doing alternate day fasting like I am, they may have some gaps where they may eat on back-to-back days. May do the standard alternate day fasting where they fast every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and they have those back-to-back eating days on the weekend. It's not perfect, but it is effective. I've had multiple clients where they've all lost over 10 pounds following that exact routine. It definitely works, and it helps if you have a coach and you're tracking consistently. And their mindset, they're very committed. They're very, I'm going to get the goal. I'm not going to stop even if they have slip-ups. They're highly committed. Occasionally they get distracted. Maybe it's a holiday, a birthday party, wedding, these things, they kind of get off track and, they'll end up coming back. And why they stay above average and they go to elite is they get excellent results, but they're leaving the slight room for improvement in data tightening. If this person is losing, 1.6 pounds a week, that's good. But what's the difference between someone in above average versus getting to that elite? The difference is in those little details. If you look at Olympics and you look at sprinters, the difference between first and second place is not this huge gap. It's tenths of a second. But all of those little minor details, just getting a little bit faster, is a difference between the gold medal and silver or even bronze, or not placing at all. So now we get to the tier of what we're actually talking about, the elite tier. This is why you're here. What makes up the person who is losing consistently 2 pounds every single week, right? Extreme discipline. They have relentless adherence. They never deviate from the plan, right? It doesn't have to be alternate day fasting. This is the alternate day fasting transformation. So that's what these slides are geared for. But they're not eating on back-to-back days. They're just eating on their eating days. They're eating on their eating days, fasting on the fasting days. Very simple. Common characteristic, which you'll see from me and my coaching philosophy, is that we track everything. Calories, sleep, what our workouts are. We track everything. We leave nothing up to chance. High accountability. So you're going to have a coach. That's what it is. The people who are elite, they get coaches. There's a reason why. If you want to be the best basketball player of all time, you're not looking up random YouTube videos. You go to the best, you hire the best trainers, you work with the legends. That's what every elite person does. They find out who's done it before. They learn from them. They get mentorship. They get coaching. I know a lot of people think that coaching is a scam and all this other stuff, but you have to really think about it. If you want to be elite at anything, when I wanted to learn computer science, I could have done it 100% at home, but the people that are serious, they're going to go to university. They're going to hopefully have professors. Now, in my case, the school I went to wasn't the greatest, and the professors I had were, that could be a whole nother rant. But anyway, in most cases, you want to make sure that you're getting a coach that's going to keep you accountable. That coach has done it before. So obviously I've done this before. This is not my first rodeo, me doing this. Recovery is very important. They are getting their sleep. They're staying hydrated, and their stress levels are low. If you're not getting sleep, you're stressed. You're not going to get the transformation, because when it comes to the workout that you don't want to do, you're just going to skip it. When it comes to doing the fast on that fasting day, you're not supposed to fast, you're just going to skip it. And it just allows you to, again, it's moment. Everything with this is momentum based. You want to keep up the momentum. You don't want to break. Set your alarm of when you're going to go to sleep. Set your alarm when you're going to wake up. Get your sleep. Don't let any of these outside BS stress you. Focus on the goal, right? And then you want to have the no excuse mindset. Nobody cares about your excuses. It's not going to be easy. Anyone telling you that anything worth having is going to be easy and simple, and people are going to be like, oh, yes, master, I'm going to serve this on a golden platter. It doesn't work like that. You got to get in the trenches. You have to get down, drop down and give me 50 push-ups. Drop down and do this alternate day fasting for 16 weeks. I didn't advertise this is going to happen fast. And this is one of the faster protocols. And it's still going to take 16 weeks. So imagine you making excuses on week 3, week 4. You're just starting. It's week 1. You're already making excuses? Bro, you got so much time left. Anyway, why do they stay here? The absolute focus translates directly into the highest possible fat loss rate. They are staying so locked in to hitting the goal that there's nothing that's going to stop them. And that's why they get the results, period. Recap of what you need to do, no matter what tier that you're in. If you're trying to get to elite, you want to optimize consistency. Stick to your schedule. As we mentioned last week, again, this is why it's so important to watch the previous trainings. Do not skip. Put everything in your calendar. Stop playing games. If it's not in the calendar, it does not exist. Refine your strategy. There's nothing wrong with making the changes. As I mentioned, when it comes to the gold medal, it's a bunch of these little adjustments to be better than the competition. It's these little adjustments every week. We track everything. What does the data say? Do I have to fast a little bit more this week? Okay. Do I need to eat a bit more protein this week? Okay. Do I need to go a little bit harder on my workouts? Okay. Whatever the adjustment you need to make, that's what you need to make so you're consistently making progress. Okay? Strengthen your mindset. No excuses. You want to have a mindset? Do not have an excuse, no matter what it is. Don't care what it is. The excuse. There's people that don't have legs and they're bodybuilders. There's people that are in wheelchairs and they're bodybuilders. And we have 2 arms, we have 2 legs, 10 fingers, 10 toes, and we're complaining. We're saying it's too difficult. Nah, man, it's all an excuse, and it's your own body transformation. You ate all that food. No one told you to eat a triple whopper pizza with all the foolishness on it. No one told you to eat that stuff. The pizza, the ice cream, the bread, the excessive gluttony of food that you've been eating to get to your obese state, no one forced it on you. But now that you have the problem and you want to get it, now you want to make all these excuses. Tell me where that makes sense. It doesn't. All right. And then accountability. You already know what it is. You have to have some type of system to be accountable. I'm going to always recommend getting a coach. That's the strongest form, right? Outside of yourself, because there's nothing that's going to stop you from doing what you want to do. At the end of the day, it starts and stops with you. But having a coach, someone who is dedicated to your goals, someone that's been there before, someone that's worked with other people, that's helped them achieve the same goal that you want, that's going to be the best. A mentor or a coach is the cheat code. Why make the mistake that someone else has already made? The goal and the key is to learn from experience. But what people leave out when they say learn from experience, it doesn't have to be your experience. If someone has 10 kids from 15 different women, mathematically it doesn't even make sense. But I'm not going to have 10 kids from 15 different women. That's a stressful lifestyle, right? Like that's not what I want, right? Don't do that. Learn from experience. I didn't have to go through it to find out that that was a bad idea. In that same token, if you are serious about transforming, are you going to continue to watch YouTube videos on how to get ripped, on how to lose fat, on how to lose weight, and not take action? Come on, click the link in the description. Stop watching me. You're literally watching a live experiment for 16 weeks where I'm going from fat to getting ripped. And you're just going to sit there and watch because you're too lazy to hit the link in the description. I don't know if we're even to be a good fit to work together, but click the link. We can set up a strategy session. We can see if I'm the best person to help you. But if you got here this far, there's something that you like in how I'm speaking, because you know I don't play any games. You know I'm 100, that if you're not doing what you're supposed to do, I'm going to call you out on it. I have no problem doing that, because at the end of the day, results are the only thing that matter. Anyway, that is today's week where we focus on strength. I didn't go too deep on the principle because it's very similar to the second principle where you just work out. It's very simple, so that's why I just decided to talk about the 5 tiers of weight loss. Hopefully you guys found this helpful. You can take some of the tips and the reasons why you stay in certain tiers and you're able to all get to that elite level. But I'll catch you on next week's video. Peace.